All right, let's check. Let's get our cybersecurity stuff out of the way here. Oh, that's the wrong button. Back to the home. Okay, cybersecurity essentials. Here we go. We're starting a new unit this week. Oh no, I got an 80% in the exam. I need to retake the exam. Okay, so this week we have access control, and this is going to take us pretty much to the end of the year. Laura, for you, that's the last week. So access control. Let's take a look here. 3.01, close module 2, open module 3, access control. The main goal of cybersecurity to ensure users always have the access they need, also known as access control. So access control identifies users, authenticates users based on their ID, provides access to the door or digital resource users need. So not long ago, users used keys to gain access to secured areas, like we still do here at school to get in a lot of these doors. I have this little digital key that I can hold up and let me in. Most access cards or ID badges. Today, most people carry access cards or ID badges to enter secured areas. So access control system used to grant access to workstations, sensitive data, and printers. So yeah, still in some of these businesses and stuff, you can't get into where all the servers are for the computer without an access key or a badge to get in there. Check out some of the reasons a business or medical facility might need an access control system. Yeah, to get in the baby floor at the hospital, there's a security guard that has to open the door for you. It's locked. They got to hit a button to let you in because a lot of security with the baby stuff. Health industry, hospitals, doctors' offices, schools, health insurance companies got to comply with the HIPAA, which is a federal law passed in 1996 that sets the national standards on how to protect medical records and other information. HIPAA health data regulations and private patient information. The financial industries, you can well imagine there's lots of need for security there. Banks, insurance companies, any business that can accept and process credit cards are subject to the PCI DSS credit card data regulations. So this was a set of requirements intended to ensure that all companies process, store, or transmit credit card information in a secure environment. The education industry, schools and school districts are considered prime targets. So we have to safeguard student information under FERPA regulations. This is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974. It's been 50 years since that's passed. It's a U.S. federal law that governs access to educational information and records by public entities like potential employers, publicly funded educational institutions, foreign governments. So yeah, your school records are private, and we have to keep that private, except for whoever's authorized to see that. Types of access control. There are 3 main types. Here we go. Technical control. This manages security and provides protection against unauthorized access. Organizations use technical control to ensure users only have access to what they need to have access to, right? So like user authentication or antivirus software, passwords, that kind of stuff. Management control sets the standard for the way that security actions unfold, like having security policies, certain protocols, guidelines. So just, what actually procedures are put in place. And then there's the actual physical control. That's like protecting your hardware, your devices, your personnel, your network, your software, your data, by having actual physically a fence, locks on the doors, motion detectors, video surveillance. That's all physical control. So that's really the 3 different ways that we control access, either technically with software, with policies, and then actually physically. Access control models. So how does someone grant the correct level of permission to individuals so they can perform their duties? So access control models define how permissions are assigned. So discretionary access control, So this restricts access to items like files based on the identity of the users and the groups to which they belong. DAC is useful for small user populations where permissions are easily managed and users remain relatively stable. Uh, Example of that I can think of is like when I log into the grade book, I can only see, I only see first my students. I have access to all the other students in the high school, but I can't look up grades for any other high schools in the state, even though they're all part of the same database. I can't go look at grades in Rogers. I can't go look at the junior high grades. I don't have access to that. I am strictly discretionary for students that I have in the high school and other students in the high school that may transfer in and out. So the model stresses the importance of ownership. For like the owner of the original creators of a file, the owner can modify its ACL or access control list that specifies which users are allowed or denied access and the privileges given. However, ownership can be transferred to another user and the owner has full control of the file. It's kind of like when you create something in your Google Drive. You're the owner of it and you have to grant access for other people, and you can make them editors. You can make them only be able to view it, because you are the owner of that file. So there's discretionary access when you create Google files. So this model is typically the default access control mechanism for most operating systems. You have the owner, whatever object they create, and you can specify users or groups of people who can access. Role-based access control. So this is a little broader type of control that regulates access based on the role of the user and their authorization to perform certain tasks. So in this model, users within the company can view, create, or modify files according to their job title and their levels of responsibility. Like in a bank, a teller would have a role-based access. They would just give access to all the tellers. Anyone that has this role, when they sign in, they can access people's balances in their bank accounts. And I don't have to assign it individually to each person. I can say anyone who's assigned as a teller would have the same access. So any teller would have the same access. And I don't have to set up individually. I can just, when I set a person up, I just say they're a teller and automatically grants them based on that role. So roles are created for people and can be easily changed to meet the changing needs. If the teller becomes a loan officer, there's different files they need to access. So this process lends itself to a looser security system and one that experiences regular growth. RBAC is the most commonly implemented system on computer networks as it reestablishes centralized administrative control over important resources. So the admin assigns users to the appropriate roles. User, whatever role they have, permissions are based on the role, not on the individual user. All right, page 5. Mandatory access control. All right, this is a system-wide security tactic controlled by a device's operating system. Individuals and end users cannot alter their access. This system is often used by government and military agencies because access control is assigned to different levels of classification. What's your classification level? This is how access can be classified as confidential, secret, top secret, all those type of things, usually associated with military, secret service type things. So an admin would give users whichever access level they're allowed, and the things you can access is based on the level that you're given. So a little different there. Won't see that as much out in the world as the military government. Implementing an access management control model. Follow these guidelines. First, select which model is appropriate. What do I need to do here? Implement the model, like the MAC or the RBAC needs implementation support in the operating system. You may have to change some system settings for that to work. Identify user account types. What all types do I need? Identify user account types to implement the model. Do I have standard users? Do I have users that need more access? Is there a different group I need to do? And identify your groups and role accounts and how they'll be allocated. Important. Operating systems and network devices usually create recognizable account types in a privilege management system. Most PC operating systems assign two types of user accounts, either standard accounts or admin accounts. There's things when I want to change on a computer, I can change a lot of things, but sometimes it'll pop up and say you need to log in as an admin to be able to change this setting on your computer because the school district controls the access that I have to the computer. So standard users have limited privileges. I cannot install anything new on this computer. Only an admin can do that because they need to make sure it provides the security needed to not suddenly allow some loophole for them to access all your student records because I installed some program that wasn't secure. So only admin can do that. So they can install and remove programs. They can change system level settings and access any object. All right, page 7. Password management policies. So password based authentication and access control is prone to user error. No doubt, right? A password management policy instructs users on best practices in choosing and maintaining passwords. Please don't put password 1234, right? You got to kind of watch for those things. You got to safeguard that. So one thing you can do is provide all users a login name and a password. Users must follow strict password guidelines. And you're very familiar with that. Every time you create an account anywhere, you got to check and see, okay, what do they want with the password? Things to avoid, like password as your password. Obvious phrases like your birthday, your username, your job title, bank teller. Don't use that as a password. Strength, poor, if you just put earth with a capital TH. They do want you to mix upper and lowercase letters. It's better if you don't just do like single words and that you use numbers and punctuation marks and things in there. And best to be the longer, the better. They say a typical password now should be 12 to 16 characters. 8 was acceptable for the longest time, and most places want longer than 8 characters nowadays, a lot of times. So you really got to put capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, symbols, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then you got to remember what that password is. Don't write it down. Don't share it with other people. Should be changed every 60 to 90 days. The administrative password should be changed every 30 days, whoever's in charge of the whole system. And passwords for mission critical systems should probably be changed every 15 days. So the highest level. All right, our last page. Knowledge check. Oh, let's check. Match each access control type with its description. So access control is multifaceted. Let's see here. Ooh, okay. So the first thing we have here is HIPAA. HIPAA. What was HIPAA? They told us about that. Actually, if you're very familiar with a lot of medical things, HIPAA is always medical. HIPAA is protecting patient rights. So let's find the one that talks about that. Medical records. It's right there, the second one. That one's not too bad. All right. RBAC, DAC, PCI DSS, physical, and MAC. Well, physical shouldn't be too bad, right? Let's see. These types of controls deal with the protection of items like hardware, devices, personnel, network. Yeah, that's the physical stuff. So that should be physical. All right. Now it gets harder. Now we just have acronyms. RBAC. That's role-based, right? RB is role-based. So let's see. This type of access control is based on resource ownership. No, that doesn't sound right. Users within the company can view, create, or modify a file according to their job title and level of responsibility. That's possible. That could be role-based. This set of requirements intended to ensure all companies that process, store, transmit credit card. No, it's not the credit card information. Often used by government or military because no, that was different too, wasn't it? I think it's role-based should be that one. Yeah, that's it. It disappeared. The PCI DSS, pretty sure that was the requirements for credit cards. So now, which one of these is the DAC and which one of those is the MAC?
MAC is the one used by the government, right?
I think so. That's what I was thinking. Let's see. Yes, we did great. All right, very good. And then it kind of summarizes everything right there. So that was a nice little study. It probably works well for the assignment. I haven't looked at our assignment. I think it's just the 5-question quiz. Yes, just 5 questions this week. So there we go. Not bad. Not bad. All right, guys. This is an A day. If you need any help, I'll be here Wednesday and Friday. But otherwise, have a great week. Go do work you can be proud of.